Today we're covering passing, and if you're newer to Jiu Jitsu, this may be a confusing topic for you. Not only am I going to describe exactly what passing is, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do it with a drill at the end that will help your passing game. So if you struggle with passing, or you're so new that you don't even know what it really means, you're in the right place. I got you covered. Let's dive in. First off, passing, what is it? You're trying to get past your opponent's guard, whether that's closed guard or open guard. That has to do with your opponent's legs keeping you at bay. Their guard or their legs are preventing you from getting to side control or mounts or variations of such. When you pass your opponent's guard, you are essentially getting past their legs and into a dominant position. Really any position of dominance that helps you win the match. It doesn't need to be any more complex than that. Now that we've got that covered and there should be no confusion on what guard passing is, let's cover 3 different passes that'll help you get to side control or mount. Now, as we check the example, you're gonna see that I need to break the guard open, and I'm gonna use this guard break called the Catback guard break. You may know it by a different name. If you do, drop it in the comments. Essentially, all I'm doing, as you can see here, is I'm pinning his hips to the mat by forcing my arms down through his pelvic girdle. Now, it's important that I don't let his hips ride up off the mat, because if I do, this guard break isn't going to work. Once they're pinned, I put my kneecap, doesn't matter which knee, against his tailbone. It goes center line into the tailbone. My other leg reaches all the way back. Now, because I've created this distance, when I round my back out and away, like a cat does, it breaks his guard open. And this really only isn't going to work if your opponent is way taller than you. I've done this on guys who are like 6'6", and it's worked, and I'm 5'11". So there has to be a significant height difference for this to not work. That challenge coming from physiology is there if your opponent is tall enough. Now that the guard is broken open, we're going to perform what I like to call a staple pass. So in this instance, you'll see that the knee I put into his tailbone then comes up towards the ceiling. So I put my foot flat on the mat and my knee comes up. This creates a barrier for him to regain his guard. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that shin of the knee that's pointed up over top of his thigh. At the same time, I'm dropping my chest down to his chest to apply pressure to his upper body. And as you can see, I'm getting a version of a seatbelt. I try to get my outside hand underneath his neck and my inside hand as an underhook. And if I can, I'll collect my hands in a gable grip behind his back. Now, as I move into side control, I'm going to windshield wiper that inside leg off his thigh and immediately replace it with a windshield wiper movement with my other shin. I like to think of this as like Indiana Jones replacing the treasure with a bag of sand. You want to be so quick with this. I don't want to leave any gap in this movement where that thigh isn't stapled. That needs to be a continuous staple. So try to think about replacing the treasure with sand. In this instance, that's always helped me. And I think you'll see just how helpful that is once you do it. Now, once I have that second staple in place, it's very easy to hop into side control. This is one of the first passes I've learned, and it's been one of the easiest to use. Obviously, if you're new to this, you're gonna mess it up for a little bit. Don't let that get you down. It's all about the reps. It's all about the experience and the time that you spend with this technique. That's all of jiu-jitsu, actually. Don't get mad at yourself if you don't do things right away. And don't even get mad at yourself if you're not doing things right for the first year, right? You need that time under tension. You need that time on the mats to get this stuff right. So be good to yourself as you learn this stuff. Most people don't realize this, but your gear can either help you or hold you back. Now, I've been training in jiu-jitsu gear for a long time, and most of it looks good online, but falls apart when it actually matters. That's exactly why I wear X Martial. This isn't just clean designs, it's performance-built gear. You get a compression fit that actually moves with you, durability that holds up during the hardest of rounds, and designs that don't look like every other basic rash guard on the mat. Whether you're drilling, competing, or going to war with one of your favorite training partners, X Martial is built for it. It's lightweight, it's breathable, and it's made for people who actually train. If you're serious about your jiu-jitsu, your attire should match that. So go check out X Martial, grab yourself a set or 2 or 3, and if you're smart, you use my code IRONWILL to save yourself some money. Train harder, roll longer, and look sharp doing it. Let's get back to the video. Next up is the knee slide pass. Now, the first example, I used my left leg to go center. I bring my knee up and then I stapled my left knee to the left. In this instance, I'm switching knees. My right knee comes up and my right knee staples to the left. Now, as you can see, once that leg is stapled, I start hunting an underhook with my inside arm. And I do that by leaning my upper body down towards his as I hunt that underhook. Now, once I have that, it's very easy to knee slide my way through into side control. And you can either end up in kesekatami here, or you can end up in standard side control. Once that guard is broken and I staple that leg to the ground, it's very easy for my outside leg to step through and step wide. This allows me to hit that knee slide action in a very smooth way. Again, it's very simple, it's very effective, and for the record, I like to show these things in slow motion for you guys. Guard passing is quick. Especially in no-gi. When you're doing guard passing in gi, you can be a bit more segmented because you have handles. In no-gi, there's less friction. It's a bit more fast. There's no stopping points. It's not segmented. So if you like no-gi, just remember that these are meant to be quick, even though I'm showing them in slow motion. All right, lastly, we're gonna cover a leg duck pass. Now, I really like this because we can simulate this from a triangle escape that I like to do. So I'm going to show my training partner here putting me in a triangle. Now, the arm that's on the outside is going to reach across to his opposite shoulder, and I'm going to spin in the direction of the leg that's on top of my shoulder. One of his legs will be under my armpit and the other will be over my shoulder. If his leg is over my left shoulder, I spin my hips to the left. Now, in doing this, I really want you to bring his knees up over his head, right? You're trying to fold him essentially. This makes it very uncomfortable for him. And adding that twisting movement, it starts to unravel the lock, and it's fairly easy to get out of the triangle. Now, if you do it the opposite direction, you're gonna make the triangle tighter. And through trial and error, you will learn pretty quickly which direction you shouldn't go. But truly, if you use landmarks like that leg that's over the shoulder, spin your hips in that direction, you'll find your way out. Now, if we watch footage of me drilling the leg duck pass, you can see where these two connect, right? Once you break the triangle open, that's where you begin to hit the leg duck pass. Maybe his arm frames are just too strong for me to drop into north-south or whatever it may be, and I wanna rotate back through. You're noticing that he brings that other leg up, I duck my head under that leg, grab onto it, and I spin to the outside. Not only is this great for, say, warm-ups or even using it as cardio, it's really good for learning the nuances of fast-paced guard passing in a high-action state. The leg duck pass helps you expect that that other leg is coming. So even if it doesn't directly translate to some of the passes you want to do, you're going to learn some good lessons from it that will carry you into your blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt years. And those are some of my 3 basic, fun, effective, low risk, high reward guard passes that I like to utilize. I've been using these for a decade. Some of them are considered very basic, and yet they still work. This is one of the reasons I like to focus on basics, because they're foundational. You can build off the basics. So you guys have any guard passes you like to do, or if you like to do these differently from me, drop them in the comments, because like I say, we're all learning, including myself. Keep in mind, I've got new videos coming every Monday, and if you comment, I may use your comment for a video. So I appreciate you guys. You know how we like to end them, sometimes backwards, always forwards. I'll see you in the next one.